I'm glad you guys all joined us for this EMF baptism. That's exactly what this is, a fucking EMF baptism. I want you guys to take a moment of silence and bask in the glory of the EMF waves that are showering your body. Moment of silence. Feel that fucking 5G meteor shower enveloping you. I'm not gonna lie, I climbed a fucking EMF tower. I climbed a 5G tower, which I am standing atop to host this spaces. And I guarantee you, my third son will be on the way very shortly. So let's have a quick moment of silence. All right, that feels fucking incredible. We're back. Hey, I've always been very intrigued by when I pop open a spaces. There's like 100 motherfuckers that raise their hand as a speaker, like right off the cuff. So let's do something in a little bit of a reverse order. I'm going to call up someone because I cannot fathom what you possibly have to say before I've even kicked this thing off. So we're going to play some roulette. I'm going to call someone up, and I'm very curious. Let us all know what you possibly have to say before spaces. This is going to be real good. Walker, give us a seance. What's
What's
up?
up, Rude? How are you doing?
How you doing?
I've listened to your previous spaces, and I want to see, what do you do to be seen as the fun guy? I know you've talked about fun is in, fun is what wins nowadays. What have you done to be seen as the fun guy?
Yeah, we'll get into that. I have a good tie-in for this, the way I was going to actually jump this off. So I have had the pleasure of speaking with many professional athletes through my platform. I DM guys that you would all know routinely. We talk mindset. There's a lot of fucking athletes in this world that when they show up on game day, they have applied my principles, my thinking, my philosophy. A lot of you motherfuckers don't understand this, but this is a fact. There are motherfuckers who you watch on TV who have my core philosophy rumbling in the back of their head when they're performing at the highest levels. But I had one earlier this week that was the most intriguing interaction I've ever had on here because I got a DM at like 3 o'clock in the morning from a professional athlete. And to protect his privacy, I'm not going to tell you the sport, but you would all know who he is. And it was like a confessional. This guy's telling me basically that he despises the fucking sport that he plays. His whole world is fucking crumbling on him. His dad don't speak to him. He's got a cadre of fake friends. His girlfriend's pushing on him to fucking quit. She wants him to move in a fucking little high-rise apartment and get a little fucking chihuahua. And he's just fucking miserable. He's absolutely fucking miserable and doesn't even want to play the game anymore. He wants to throw in the towel. So me and him are bandying back and forth. And when I saw this particular message, I grinned because this guy's in a solo sport. And I have actually bet a couple $1,000,000 on this guy over the years, and he doesn't know. This guy has no clue that I have actually placed very large, life-changing wagers on his performance. And this motherfucker's DMing me. 3 degrees of separation, right? The world is much smaller than you guys think. Anyway, when he shares this with me, I had a very genuine grin come over my face because this was like a steel girder. This was like a steel reinforcement to everything that I've been talking about. What you motherfuckers have to truly understand and internalize right now is that when you are receiving everything that you truly want in life, this is the most grotesque paradox that you will ever grapple with. When you are receiving everything that you truly want in life, it will always, no exceptions, be when you are the most miserable. Do you understand? Being a top performer as a male is excruciatingly miserable, but you're also getting everything that you want. When this guy is telling me that he's shaky inside and he wants to wave the white flag and he wants to kneel and he wants to throw in the towel on the game that he loves because he just can't fucking do it anymore, because his father doesn't speak to him, because he's so obsessed. He has a fucking pathology that is demolishing all of his personal relationships. His girl is badgering him daily, telling him, I just want you to be happy. Why don't you fucking quit? I'm so sick of seeing you miserable. Do you guys understand that under the surface, which is where you have to go in order to receive life's greatest insights, this man is actually seated in a position where he's getting everything he wants? His dad ain't talking to him, but his dad is filled to the brim with the most respect that he's ever had for his son right now. They ain't even talking. And I know for a fact his dad respects the fuck out of him, which, by the way, is the top thing that a man wants in life. A man just wants to be respected. Women want to be cherished. Men want to be fucking respected. And he's got that. And I told him in the DM, I said, listen, I said, the only reason why your girl is with you right now is because you are miserable. Wrap your head around that. The only reason his girl is rocking with him, ride or die right now, is because of how miserable he is. The minute, the very second he decides to choose the happy path, she's gone. Dunzo. Not coming back. Gone. And it's all a shit test. Do you understand? It's all a shit test. They want to see if this motherfucker's gonna fold, and they want to see if this guy's gonna cave in on himself so they can go, see, we knew it all along. You ain't the guy you said you were. That's what everyone's doing in your personal life at all fucking times, by the way. Everyone's just waiting for you to fucking fold up your tent and go home. So they can go, gotcha, gotcha. We knew you were a fucking charlatan. We knew you weren't about this life. And what you have to understand, and this is the reason I grinned, is because there are envious millions of motherfuckers, insectoid motherfuckers, that would love to be in this guy's position. He's in the arena. He's in the arena. He's a fucking gangster. This motherfucker's talented as fuck at his craft, and he fucking hates it. Do you guys know that most of the very, very top performers that you look up to absolutely fucking despise their craft? You know, Andre Agassi hated tennis. Literally hated. Go pull up old Andre Agassi fucking interviews. Guy's a fucking legend. The guy's a fucking legend. A once in a generation talent. And I'll tell you something. He hated tennis, and guess what? There ain't no motherfucker walking who's ever gonna see a super grand slam again. He holds he holds a record in tennis that will never be replicated or duplicated again. Never happening. No one's ever getting a super grand slam again. Agassi's got it, and he hated the fucking sport. GSP, your little fabled, prized little wrestling boy that all you motherfuckers look up to, hated fighting, hated MMA, hated wrestling. He's got interviews and shit. He would talk about the anxiety and the tension and the fear and how rattled he would be before matches. He didn't even want to fucking be there. Motherfucker was at the top of his game. Joe DiMaggio hated baseball with so much rancor in his heart. Fucking hated the game. Ain't no one ever getting a fucking 62 hit game streak again. That motherfucker's holding the crown jewel in the game of baseball. There ain't no one who's gonna eclipse that hit streak ever again. And he fucking hated it, despised it, and he was getting everything he wanted. He was getting everything he wanted. The rocket metaphor, the physics, the telemetry of the direction of a rocket. Yes, space is fake and gay, but the analogy remains the same. The type of propulsion that you need as a man just to get your wheels off the ground and fucking puncture the atmosphere. People don't understand how hard you gotta hang on until you break through the fucking firmament. People do not really comprehend how much throttle and how much thrust it actually takes to carry your vessel through the fucking gauntlet, cruising to an altitude where then you can kind of lay off the throttle a little bit and just fucking bask in the grace for a second. It takes so much upward thrust through so much grief and deprivation and fucking misery. And this guy that I was DMing with, this athlete, I told him, I was like, dude, you got to understand that the misery is the glue that's holding everything together right now. You know what I mean? God did not build men to be happy little fucking faggots prancing around in fucking tulip fields. That was never the fucking case, because this hardware that you have been blessed with, fuck, I venture to fucking let's lasso in software too. The male software and the male hardware is so fucking durable. It's so fucking hardy. You know what I mean? It's stalwart. It's almost undefeatable. And you can put yourself through so much contortion to get to where you need to be as a man. You can fucking handle anything. The more fucking shit you put on your plate, the more you fucking rise to the occasion every fucking time. It's just a fact. And so the misery that this man is experiencing is actually the cohesion. His girl is in love with him more than she's ever been in her entire life right now. And that's the irony of life. And that's another one of these magnificent fucking paradoxes, is that you will receive the most undying loyalty and love from a woman when you are least receptive to it, when you're numb to it, when you can't even fucking see straight and your head is fucking on a gimbal, spinning, rotating on that fulcrum. That is when you will receive the most undying love. It's also when you'll receive the most money, success, and wealth. Look, there is nothing glamorous about being a high performer whatsoever. You are in miserable conditions, but you also have all these little virtues quaking under the surface that you want. You got the respect. You got the fucking love. You got the fucking cribs. You got the cars. You got the toys. You're literally the epicenter of the fucking universe. And it ain't fun. Like, sometimes you don't even fucking enjoy it. But that's the beauty of being a man, is you can have everything you want and not enjoy it, just to fucking show that you did it. It's one of the wildest fucking paradoxes. And then this motherfucker cashes this in and goes to the bartering table and listens to his girl and goes, you know what? Fuck this sport. You're right. Let's just go move into our little apartment and get a little fucking dog and shack up. That relationship is fucking toast. It's so fucking toast. He's so fucked if he chooses that route. And so he's got to double down. He's got to lean into his nature. He's got to lean into his fucking nature. I do want to pivot a little bit. Let's do like a deeper alembic on some of these tweets that I've been kind of rattling off my hip the last week. I think I did one yesterday about anabolic thinking. I actually want to write a book about this, because I just genuinely don't think people really understand how powerful the mind is. And I said something to the effect of that the way that you think, the way that you perceive the world has 100x the anabolic effects of any food or supplement or compound that you'll ever take. And that is a fucking fact. The way you see things, your outlook, your fucking attitude, your disposition. You know what I mean? And this is always going to be a fucking egg before the chicken type of deal. It always is. It's like people have wrestled with the idea like which one comes first. If I optimize my hormones, is that going to fix my life? Or if I optimize my attitude and my mindset, is that going to fix my hormones? It's always going to be that question. But I am here to tell you that if you have the true holistic approach towards life, you will understand that you cannot isolate any of these fucking components. You can't do it. This is why it is so tough to offer up, to serve up good diet advice and see someone actually stick to a radical dietary change. It is very rare that in the middle of someone's life that they can actually stick to and adhere to a radical diet change. It is the hardest thing to jackhammer in a man. And the reason is because you have to understand that a person's predilection towards their dietary habits are very tightly interlocked with all the other ideologies that they hold on to. The way they politic, the way they fucking their ontology, their fucking philosophy, their economic strategy, their economic viewpoints, all of that ties in with the way people eat. And if you really want to make someone have a radical dietary change, you have to mutilate, you literally have to mutilate like 9 other aspects of their personality because everything is tightly interwoven in the system. This is how humans work. And so when you try to make little changes in one department without changing everything else, you have zero idea what kind of damage you're doing to these other structures. You understand? You change a man's politics, you change the way he eats food, you change the way he interacts with life. Everything is downstream from these larger macro funnels. It's factual. And everyone wants to go fucking downstream and pick the low hanging fruit. And that's why they can't fucking stick to these things. You know what I'm saying? Like you get a fucking some loser who fucking can't get what he wants in life, and you tell him, hey buddy, if you start fucking pounding raw milk and eating steak, your life's gonna change. Come on, man. Come on. I wasn't fucking born yesterday. That's not how the fucking game is played whatsoever. Because what you're really trying to do by eating properly is you're trying to change the way you feel. And that's what the ingestation of all these compounds and shit. Motherfuckers somehow are under the guise that if you feel a certain way, that that's going to catapult you to where you want to be. And I think we've seen innumerable amount of examples of motherfuckers who perform regardless of how they feel, right? Feeling is not a prerequisite to success whatsoever. You don't have to like what you're doing to succeed. You don't have to be happy doing what you're doing to succeed at all. That's never been the case. Not for men anyway. And so the point is, the overarching point is that you have to attack the mind first. You know what I mean? And then the fucking food and the supplements, like, look, my diet is fucking immaculate. It always has been. But I see it as just the polish. You know what I'm saying? Like my blades are already fucking razor sharp and the food is just the fucking polish at the end. That's all it is. That's all it is. I just have a deeper reservoir. I have a deeper wellspring to tap into of energy because I do eat well. The jacked thing is the same fucking thing, by the way. You know what I mean? Like I think it's time that we really put to bed the whole fucking jacked meme. It's just not, the efficacy just ain't there. It's not doing for men what they thought it was gonna do. Every fucking idiot, every midwit thought that if they went into the gym 6 days a week and put on fucking 10 pounds of muscle, that somehow magically everything was gonna fucking fall in their lap on a silver platter. Women were gonna fucking throw themselves to you. Fucking opportunities are gonna fucking, you know what I mean? Be storks are gonna fucking deliver opportunities to your fucking doorstep. And I think if we're really being honest with ourselves, we all know that's a fucking crock of shit. We all do. We all do. In the modern age, if you get super jacked as anything but a consequence of being athletic and strong as fuck, you're doing it all wrong. Like, I'm pretty jacked, objectively. My back is the size of a fucking 2-bedroom apartment. But I'm telling you right now, I ain't ever measured a single proportion on my body or given a single flying fuck about any particular muscle group. I'm just a fucking strong athlete. So of course I'm fucking jacked. But it's as a fucking byproduct. You know what I'm saying? It all ties in with my whole fucking central thesis about how you got to train the way you think. You got to do business the way you train. Everything is fucking connected. Everything. If you're a fast twitch fiber motherfucker and you think quickly and you're an improviser, you know what I mean? You have sort of that jackal mentality, that sort of hunter predator mentality in life, the way that you view things, the way that you seize and capitalize opportunities that come across your desk, then you better fucking orchestrate your fitness in the same manner. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a very quick, snappy, sharp thinker. I don't fucking have to sit and pontificate. Therefore, me going into the fucking gym and sitting on a leg press and doing slow muscle contractions is going to have a negative, detrimental effect to the way that I think. But me going in and doing whip fucking snap power cleans at 300 pounds is going to reinforce and bolster the way that I think. Do you understand how all this shit's connected? It is. It's very much connected. I'm a fucking sprinter by nature, and therefore I treat my life with that same accord. Thinking is extremely anabolic. I challenge you motherfuckers to go look back at all the beautiful minds that you guys fucking give blandishments and laudations to on the timeline. Go look at all the fucking generals, the true leaders of men, right? Because look, I'm going to tell you right now, in the modern day and age, in the most disgraceful, appalling genres of fucking porn imaginable. That this is what this leads. And look, I'll give you the real benefits of being jacked. If you wanted like a clear cut idea of all this shit, if you are super fucking jacked as like a prescription, yes, 100% it will amplify your dating success with like fives and lower. 100%. Ugly bitches do like jacked men. I'll tell you that right now. Once you get to the upper echelons of beautiful women, they don't give a fuck about your body. They don't give a flying fuck about your body. They give a fuck about your body at work, but they don't give a fuck about your body. I know this is very painful. Very fucking painful for you motherfuckers who are fucking in there 6 days a week, fucking looking at every fucking muscle contraction and all your fucking striations. Because when you're walking on the fucking sidewalk, I'm telling you right now, the only people who are looking up to you are other men. Men are very impressed by mutant physiques, and women are not at all. If women are impressed by mutant physiques, I got news for you. That woman his soul has been fucking eviscerated. It has been eviscerated. Makes zero fucking sense. I'll give you another little fucking piece of advice. Physiognomy is a decent indicator, but it's mostly predicated on genetics. If you really truly want to understand the fulmination of a man's spirit, you got to look at the way the motherfucker walks. I have a feeling that the expression of the male aura comes out in the gait. It's the way you fucking walk. It is. It's the way you walk. You can see everything in a way that the man fucking walks. It's a way better fucking indicator than physiognomy. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. Even your age shows up in the way you walk. That's how actually how you can tell someone's age is by the way they walk. Like, you should never be shuffling your feet. Um, and the swagger just gets incorporated in that. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that. This is why I'm telling you thinking is more anabolic, because I do actually believe that if you groove enough thinking patterns in your head, that it actually does put engravings in your face. It does. It morphs your face. The way you think over time actually does gratify the face in a certain manner. And it also imbues and endows itself in your posture, in your fucking aura. You know what I mean? Physiognomy is interesting. If you look at really, really ugly, hideous people, you will notice a deep association with petty crime. Petty crime is for very ugly, hideous people. Go look at like old bank robbers and shit. Um, that would like do like little gay little fucking forms of thievery, like stealing like coops of chickens and shit. Like people who stealing candy, Snickers and shit from like fucking gas stations and shit. Hideous, hideous, ugly, wretched, decrepit looking motherfuckers. So yeah, I mean, there are some fucking lines that can be drawn and some fucking parallels and shit, but the overarching point remains that physiognomy is mostly fucking bullshit. And the indentations and impressions on your face does show your body of work. Your hands as a man, I do believe your hands contain the entire map of your life, the entire stratigraphy. The entire fucking stratigraphy of your life is grooved and embroidered in your fucking hands. Like your whole life story is really emblazoned in your fucking palms. You know what I'm saying? Like you can literally see some motherfuckers have horned, cracked fucking fingers, bent pinkies and shit. And then you got other motherfuckers with like whale blubber hands, and those motherfuckers have never done a goddamn fucking thing in their life. So these etchings are real. These etchings are real. And why you as a man would ever go to great lengths to hide these etchings really boggles, it confounds the rational mind. Because this is what I'm telling you, right? This is what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that your entire life experience does settle on your skin. It settles in your appearance. Now, as a man, all you have to show for your body of work is the story that's been inscripted on you. So why the fuck, if you had a hard life and you were triumphant over it, and you got fucking wrinkles and shit, and you got fucking gray hair, why the fuck would you go to great lengths to hide your story? What the fuck are you thinking? You're a man. Why the fuck would you ever hide your story? I don't even think prosthetics are dope, other than like the functional aspect. Like if I lost a fucking finger, I lost the fucking finger. You bet your ass I'm repping it. And I'm gonna rep it hard. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these machine workers and shit who get fucking fingers chopped off. I ain't getting a cadaver finger sewed back on because it just becomes part of the inner working of the story. And so you got these fucking spray tan, roided motherfuckers that dye their hair black when they get to their 50s and 60s, hiding their life story. Fuck are you doing, man? Shit's gay as fuck. Yo, next gen, I need a cigarette break, bro. Go ahead. Do not,
Hey,
do not ramble. Please. I need
are you
coherency.
are you taking questions right now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
All right, so I think I'm like a late bloomer, but my life path, like finding my edge, I think it's being a lone wolf. But I'm working on the flaws that come with being that type of man, and I hope to like master it one day. But I'm getting into my late 20s. I'm not fucking rich and powerful like the giants like you and Tate and others I look up to and stuff. So I'm having to mix in the hyper normie life path for now, even though I think sometimes going homeless is what I need. But what I wanted to talk to you about is like the concept of disappearing and going ghost, essentially, to get as far as you can. Because I think I know my mission, and I just wanted to hear your thoughts on a male taking that route as kind of like a hoorah, and if you've seen success stories in that.
Going ghost in what manner? What are you talking about? Just turning your back on everybody in your life and alienating yourself, or what?
No, not in like an unhealthy way at all. Definitely not. Like I enjoy social interactions and stuff, and like here and there and everything. But basically, just like dedicating yourself to the craft. Almost, I think a lot of people could use that maybe from like a long-term standpoint.
Yeah, I think that's solid. I think what America has done is I think America has really failed its outliers big time in recent times. And I think that we have stopped teaching people with fire in their bellies how to cook on that fire. And that's the biggest problem we see in society right now. There's a lot of young men who have obsessive personalities, who have nervous fucking quirks and personality characteristics and shit that just don't jive with a lot of the norms going on. And a lot of these men are turning a blind eye to these gifts and these strengths, and they're not learning how to cook on that fire inside them. And if you don't fucking learn how to cook on that fire, you're just gonna fucking burn yourself and everybody around you to the fucking ground. And so, you talk about the lone wolf archetype. I'm very curious when you talk about the flaws because look, obviously my whole central work has been around integration. I think the pinnacle of being a man is finally being able to integrate all of the qualities in yourself that you don't like and making it a holistic unit. And until you get there, it's a very, very rough road. But obviously, I think if you're familiar with my work, you know that I do not believe in flaw removal whatsoever. I think it's the biggest mistake that men make. I've seen more lives get toppled like fucking Pompeii from that shit. And I think it needs to come to a fucking screeching halt. I think men need to learn how to incorporate their flaws. So, what are some of the flaws of being a lone wolf? Talk to me.
Um, yeah, it's kind of deep with that. I don't really have an answer right off the rip on my head that comes to mind, but I would say probably like maybe something with the obsessiveness and like locking yourself in a room and like type cave type shit. But a lot of people can handle it too to a degree if you're actually productive. But I would say flaws as in like yeah, you're not like talking to uh you're just not relying on other people to where you're not building those good relationships and having a network to where you can go have fun, like be that fun guy as well, like we were talking about, or the last question was. But
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
I
I
feel
think
like
there's a lot of
I
flaws
feel
with
like
it.
a, I feel like a lot of people can go Unabomber mode and put on the fucking hoodie and put on the fucking sweatpants and barricade themselves inside and hunker down and grind and shit. I'm not about that life at all. I don't think that life is constructive whatsoever. I think you have to be in the scene.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, I think there's fucking social gratification and shit that's involved with this and building a full life. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, man.
I leaning into your edge and accepting the flaws. I've definitely learned from you. Like you just kind of everyone's built different. You kind of just gotta like use that as strength almost.
Yeah, you got to ride the long tails is what you got to do on the distribution. You got to ride the long tails and you got to swing between extremes until you kind of strike that golden middle. And that's kind of what it is. It's like I said on the last spaces, winners do go through many prophecies and sagas where they're losing. Doesn't mean they're a loser, but they're on the other end of the long tail. And I'm all about riding the fucking long tails because that always leads to glory, one way or another. One way or another, you're gonna have a good fucking story to tell. Well, one way or another, you're gonna fucking plunder wisdom. I think wisdom is far superior to knowledge. Far superior. I'd rather be the dumb fucking pirate wearing tights, sitting on a bridge drinking fucking hemlock, thinking about all the fucking things that I've done, all the fucking pirate's booty and shit that I've reaped in life, than the fucking knowledgeable motherfucker who's castrated. You know what I'm saying? And look, the thing with really smart people, like the most post prominent debauchers that I know, that the real fucking smart kids who leaned into debauchery at some point in their life always choose the mind of the senses over the life of the mind. The life of the senses is where all the fucking greatness is in life. It's not deep seated in the fucking mind. It's in the senses. And I think that really intelligent people figure that out one way or another. Anyway, I'm gonna move on. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Love the wisdom, man. I'm gonna keep cooking that fire. Appreciate it.
We are having a connection issue because of this gay Wi-Fi thing. Yo, Golden Beaver.
Hey, Brood, what's up?
What's up, bro?
Well, my question is,
No. Hold on. Back up. Golden Beaver, you're up. What's up, bro?
got it.
Can't hear a word. All right, Zero Soy. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, my question is, you always talk about that, I don't know, half of the people that you talk to in the spaces are just entertaining themselves. Do you think that there's people that you can change, some guys that are listening today, that they can wake up? Or that there's guys that maybe sometimes they grasp this reality that you talk about, and they go back, like you talk in the terms of winners and losers. Can you change a loser to a winner, somebody that's listening, or it's that impossible?
100% you can. That's why I said the opposite of winner is not loser. This is what I want you guys to understand. The opposite of winner is not loser. The opposite of winner is mediocre. Because I am wholeheartedly convinced that if even if a man doubles down on his loser traits, he'll probably win in the end. You know what I'm saying? Like the fucking the heroin using fucking artist who produces great works of art. That motherfucker does have more upside than the mediocre motherfucker. So it's like even literally doubling down on your loser traits is oftentimes actually going to break you through to the top eventually. That's the fucking crazy paradox about life. But I do think transformation is bullshit. I do think transformation is 100% bullshit. I think people look, here's like the one of the most impressive feats, and it's impressive not in a good way to me, is people who go to Alcoholics Anonymous and kick the alcoholism. These people genuinely, when you hear them speak, they genuinely have a full cup of life. Like when I hear them speak, I've never heard I've never heard an individual actually have a full love for life like people who've quit their addictions. The problem is every time the beast wakes up, which is every day, possibly every fucking hour of the day, they have to beat the beast down with a club. You know what I mean? They're living in a perpetual
Yeah.
state of beating down the beast within themselves and taming it and fucking suffocating it and strangling it. And that is impressive in the sense that it takes 24/7 monitoring. Your ego takes 24/7 monitoring of your thoughts. And every time that beast knocks on the door, you got to bring out the fucking billy club and fucking beat him over the head again. But it's never going to die. And that's why I said the people who have beat their addictions for like 40 years. I remember hearing a guy speak. I think he was clean for like 40 years off of alcohol, and he came into a meeting and he fucking relapsed after like 40 years. And I have never seen a defeated human. It was the saddest fucking story to this day that I've ever fucking heard. This guy was brought to tears. He was besides himself. He was so distraught, so fucked up, so twisted inside. He couldn't believe that the beast got him again. And he said in his speech, and it was one of the most powerful things I'd ever heard, he said, I feel like I'd been living a lie for 40 years. He's like, I didn't pick up a fucking drink for 40 years, but he's like, I feel like my entire life was built on a foundation of lies and fakery. And he said, I just couldn't fucking take it anymore. And when I went back to the drink, he's like, I just felt this alleviation. I just felt this suffusion of tension that had been weighing on me for 40 years. And it was one of the best feelings I had ever had in my life. And then he broke into a billion little fucking pieces.
Wow.
And that's an incredible story, because to go 40 years in self-denial of who you really are is impressive to me. Just like it's impressive to me when I see a fat, super fucking morbidly obese motherfucker at a restaurant. Like when I'm at a restaurant and I'm at a steakhouse and I see a family walk in and they are morbidly fucking obese and they're fucking disgusting. Like, I don't think people understand how impressive it is that someone allowed themselves to get to that point. It's equally as impressive as a pro athlete to me. I'm like, you literally had to deny so many things in this life, so much reality to create such a fucking behemoth of a human being that you've become, that it's impressive in a bad way. I'm just like sitting there jaw dropped, like, how the fuck did you even get to this point? Because there's so many instruments within my own psychology that would never allow me to let myself go like that. Like, it would be impossible for me to become a fat guy. It's literally not humanly possible. Even if I lost all my limbs, there's no way. I have way too much circuitry and way too many stop gaps put in place in my psychology that would never in a billion fucking years let me become that way. So the fact that there are people out there who will allow themselves to become just a grotesque fucking caricature of themselves is impressive. That takes work. Like, people look at this shit and they're like, these guys are fucking lazy. They're fucking disgusting. They're fat as fuck. It's like, dude, you don't understand actually how much work it took for them to let themselves go. That is I dare to say, almost an impossible feat. And so when I see people in this state of condition, where they're the absolute most abject losers on the planet. They have no accomplishments. They don't do a fucking thing. I'm like, that takes so much creativity. It takes so much creativity to be a broke loser. Like, you have to really, really work at it to get straight Fs in class. You know what I'm saying? Like, people look at that guy and they're like, he's lazy. And I'm like, nah, that motherfucker's working harder than you. You got to work hard to be a loser. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for me, it's just impressive. I'm just like, fuck, man, you are fucking ghastly, and you did this to yourself. And it works in the other way as well. It's like you know what I mean? It's the whole horseshoe theory.
I've heard the obese one. I've heard it before. Like when they say, well, it takes a lot of work to have a, I don't know, a chiseled body. Okay, it takes a lot of work to be morbidly obese.
Dude, of course it does. The sheer willpower and denial of reality that it takes to become in that state is actually so fucking magnanimous. Like, that shit could move mountains. They just redirected it in the wrong direction. And look, like, my whole thing about leaning into your nature, most people who are fat as fuck, they're not, that's not their nature. There are genuinely some prototypes of men who actually do fare better in this world being overweight. But that's not the average person. The average person that's obese and grotesque, they're actually so far away from their nature that you'll never actually fit that body back in its frame, even if you fucking tried. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do a quick dissection on Goggins. Goggins is a mental fat guy, and he always will be. It's just, instead of torturing himself with donuts and curly fries, he now tortures himself with marathons and pull-ups. The behavior's the same. He's a fucking self-torture addict. He's a self-torture addict. That is his self-image. That's the entire foundation that his life is predicated on, is self-torture.
Did he?
But in his head, he's still the fat fuck that he has to abuse every day. You understand?
Do you think he transformed it into a W, into a win?
100%. 100%. I'm giving him props.
Oh,
He's leaned in heavy to his nature. He's a self-abuser. He can't stop fucking hurting himself. And so he finally chose a path where he can torture his fucking soul in a way that actually is now marketable. Like, of course I give him props. The guy's the guy is the second coming of Jesus Christ to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, that's an impressive morphology there for sure. But my point is the behavior is the exact same. And he is the same guy, even when, the donuts and curly fries. That metaphor is fucking flawless because that's exactly what it is.
I have an unrelated question of a story you told, the Mercedes. What happened when you received this letter saying that you left it on the road?
It wasn't a letter. I did a credit audit. I think I was trying to get a crib. And on my credit report, it showed that there was a salvaged Mercedes still on the record.
Shit.
And I found out like 3 years later. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, man.
Mm-hmm. Let's get some new faces up here. New faces, new places. What's up, Christian?
Yo, what's going on, bro? I want to open up a few cans of worms. The first one is relevant to your own temperament and your own edge. So, oftentimes, when you put out such a strong message like, anti-transformation, if you will, like going against who you really are, that leaves the listeners in a tough spot where it's like, okay, fuck, I don't necessarily like my natural predicament. So how do you view not necessarily rounding yourself out such that you lose your edge, but navigating your predisposition, your temperament relative to your desires? Because oftentimes our temperament or our edge doesn't come in the most pretty fucking package, right? So
Exactly, which is what we just talked about in the beginning of the show. So go on.
so that brings me to the second thing. You mentioned in a few spaces ago that when you're on your mission, a day or a week or a month is a fucking eternity. And sometimes I find that when I'm really working hard, time just sort of elapses and flies by. So I'm interested to hear your take on that and have you expand on that a bit.
Yeah, so on the first one, I need you to kind of condense that question for me again.
Yeah. So when you say, oh, day, a week, or a month is an eternity, what
No,
exactly?
the first part. The first
Uh,
part of
relevant
the
to
question.
the temperament and the predisposition?
Yes.
Okay. So how does one navigate not necessarily liking or enjoying their predisposition and who they are, but simultaneously move their life in a direction that they'd like it to go, and not necessarily be pinned down by their predisposition?
Dude, it's exactly what I just talked about hating what you love. Hate and love are so close on the dial. That's what motherfuckers don't understand. It's like hate and love are almost identical. You know what I'm saying? Male hatred is identical to female love. So when haters are in my comments or people make fake accounts just to talk shit on my page, I'm like, dude, you're in love with me. You are literally Stan from that fucking music video and Eminem scribbling fucking letters to me. That's what you're doing right now. I'm not dumb. I see that shit fucking coming a mile away. So hate and love are very close. And like I said, male hatred is identical to female love. It's literally an identical mechanism, but it's just on opposite sides of the barbell. As a man, there's a zero prerequisite to enjoy whatever the fuck you're doing. That's not like a real thing. You don't have to be happy while you're doing things. Happiness is for women and children, first of all. Women deserve to be happy. Children deserve to be very happy. I don't think men deserve to be happy at all. You know what I'm saying? And look, this is paradoxical because the most miserable a man is, the happiest he really is. Because it means things are getting done. It means things are being accomplished. It means the empire is being erected. Do you understand? Standing in your own empire in the ivory tower and surveying the kingdom that you built is not really a good feeling because there's so much responsibility and there's so much juggling that goes on with that it actually is quite miserable. Emperors, kings,
Yeah,
all those motherfuckers are there's a lot of pain that they experience when they're standing on the balcony of their kingdom looking out. It ain't fun. There's nothing fun about it. But we
yeah,
soldier on
absolutely.
we soldier on anyway because we're men, and as men, my whole point is nature designed you to get the fuck out of homeostasis and push boundaries. That's how you get a civilization. Because by nature, you know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, you're really designed to just be sitting under the sun, fucking a little bit, walking a couple kilometers a day, grabbing a fucking papaya, slashing it open, maybe laying a fucking trap, catching a fucking squirrel, catching a fucking rabbit, feasting, rinse and repeat. That's really what man is designed to do. Man ain't designed to build rockets, skyscrapers, daring works of art. That ain't in the fucking design. You have to go way outside your biology. You have to veer. You know what I'm saying? I think William Blake said man is dirigible. And what he meant is that man can steer himself in directions that are at direct odds with his biology. That's what nature, transcendence, and destiny is, by the way. It's about veering and
Fuck.
straying from homeostasis and being able to sustain that state for as long as possible. That's why I've always said if you want to be very successful, you got to learn to be in a very imbalanced state because things don't get done when they're balanced. You know what I'm saying? I've used the analogy before. You think a fucking detective who gets the biggest case of his life, he's trying to solve a murder mystery. That motherfucker ain't going to his calendar and saying, you know what? I think on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I think I'm going to put 4 hours in trying to catch this killer. Maybe on Saturday, I'll have a fucking barbecue and a ball game with the boys. That's not happening. This motherfucker is
Yeah.
obsessed. He's obsessed with his mission and he's going to be working around the clock 24/7. It's never going to leave his mind until he solves the case. Well, you know what the fucking second order consequences of that are? He's going to have relationship tension at home with his wife. His kids are maybe even turn their back on him. His friends are going to fucking drift away. But he's going to fucking solve that case. And that's why I said
Yeah,
you
for sure.
cannot measure, dude, you cannot measure anything on the surface. On the surface, things can be very ugly. You know what I mean? It can feel like things are falling apart. But like we talked about in the pro athlete in the beginning of the show, under the surface, that detective is actually garnering more love, respect, companionship, and loyalty from all of those relationships that are falling apart, if that makes sense. Like his wife is with him and gonna stand by him because of his insanity. It's because of his insanity, not in spite of it. Bang
Yeah,
bang.
I
We
can
keep
agree,
moving.
and I've experienced that.
Dude, we all have.
Cool, keep moving.
Yep.